Close your eyes for just a moment and imagine this. What if the very top of your head, the soft crown you've carried since birth, was never just a patch of skin and bone? What if it was a doorway, a hidden opening through which the universe itself could breathe light into you? You might be sitting right now in your living room, your bedroom, or maybe outside where the evening sun is touching your skin. Wherever you are, I want you to gently lift your awareness up, higher than your thoughts, higher than the noise around you, to that quiet spot at the very top of your head. Have you ever noticed how sensitive it feels when touched? That tender crown where, as infants, our skulls were still forming. What if that sensitivity is not random at all, but a sacred reminder that here lies a gateway? Ancient mystics called it the thousand-petaled lotus. Scientists today may describe nerves and tissues, but to those who truly listened, this spot was understood as the opening to the heavens, a place where divine light descends to meet human life. Paramahansa Yogananda, in his timeless autobiography of a yogi, wrote that the crown is the point where the thousand-petaled lotus blossoms, radiating divine consciousness. Imagine that, a flower of light blooming right where your body touches the sky. Now pause for a moment and gently place your hand on your crown. No pressure, no force, just the warmth of your palm resting there. Can you sense it? The subtle tingling, the quiet vibration, the way your awareness sharpens when you notice this spot. This is not coincidence. This is not imagination. It is an ancient memory returning to you, and here is a question I want you to reflect on, and even share with me in the comments. When you gently touch this crown spot, what do you feel first? Warmth, calm, or maybe a sudden rush of silence? I ask this because your body is wiser than any book, wiser than any doctrine. What you feel is your truth. As we journey together in this sacred exploration, keep one thing close to your heart. This practice is not about adding something new. It is about uncovering what has always been there. A doorway of light, a portal of peace. Welcome, my friends, to the Spine Gospel. Tonight we will press a forgotten spot and watch the divine enter through us like sunlight through an open window. So take a breath, let your hand rest on your crown, and stay with me. The story that unfolds from here may change the way you see your body and the light that flows through it forever. Now that you've gently touched the crown of your head, notice how subtle yet powerful this place feels. It's not imagination. Across cultures, across centuries, this single spot has been honored as a doorway, a threshold where the ordinary body meets the extraordinary. Think of it as the highest window in your house. Through every other window you see the world, family, neighbors, the daily rhythm of life. But through this window at the crown, you glimpse the sky itself. And when the sky opens, light enters. Ancient yogis of India described this crown as the Sahasrara, the thousand-petaled lotus that blossoms when a seeker is ready for divine union. Tibetan mystics saw it as the opening for the rainbow body, where human form dissolves into pure light. Early Christian desert fathers prayed with bowed heads, believing grace descended like oil upon the crown of the faithful. The images may differ, but the teaching remains the same. This spot is not just bone and skin. It is a living doorway. Imagine now a lamp, golden and eternal, hovering just above you. Its light pours downward, bathing your crown in warmth. This is how the ancients saw the body, not as closed, but as porous, open to heaven. And yet even modern science cannot dismiss this sacred point. The crown sits near a dense network of nerves and blood vessels. Touching it, or simply focusing your attention there, can stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and restore mode of the body. When this system awakens, your heart slows, your breath deepens, your muscles release tension. Even if you don't believe in energy or divine light, you cannot deny what happens physiologically. The body relaxes. Some scientists today also explore the concept of the human biofield, the subtle electromagnetic field surrounding the body. While still debated, many studies show shifts in brainwave patterns and energy flow when people meditate on the crown. To skeptics, it may be nerves and electricity. To mystics, it is divine light. Perhaps both are true. There is a story of an old woman who lived alone by the sea. Her nights were restless, her heart heavy with the weight of years. One evening, while brushing her silver hair, she paused with her palm resting on the crown of her head. She closed her eyes. In that moment she felt a warmth, not from her hand, but from somewhere deeper. A soft hum, like the sea itself, was moving through her. She whispered later, "I thought I was alone, but when I touched this place I felt held, as if light itself was sitting with me." Her story is not unusual. Perhaps you too have felt this in fleeting moments, a tingling at the crown when you pray, or a sudden stillness, as if someone unseen has placed a hand above your head. Patricia Mercier, in the Chakra Bible, writes that the crown chakra is the seat of pure consciousness, where one experiences union with the divine. Her words remind us that this spot is more than sensation. It is connection. It is where we remember that our bodies are not just clay, but vessels of light. As you sit with your hand at your crown now, let that phrase echo, the seat of pure consciousness. What might it mean to sit upon that throne, even for a breath? So I ask you, what might shift in your life if every day you unlock this hidden gateway, not as ritual, not as duty, but as a gentle returning to yourself? Imagine mornings where calm begins not in your coffee, but in the crown of your head. Evenings where peace descends, not from the world outside, but from the light above you. Keep your awareness here a moment longer. Notice the warmth. Notice the silence. This is your hidden gateway, and soon I will guide you into how to use it, step by step, so that this doorway opens for you whenever you need it most. Now that you understand the crown as a hidden gateway, let's move gently into the practice itself. This is not complicated. It doesn't require strength or years of training. It is simple enough for a child, yet profound enough for a mystic. All it asks of you is presence. Think of this as learning to open a window that has always been there. Once you know where the latch is, the light begins to enter with ease. Begin by finding a comfortable place to sit. It might be your favorite chair by the window, a soft cushion on the floor, or even the edge of your bed. If sitting on the ground feels difficult, choose a chair. What matters is that your spine feels supported and upright. Place both feet flat on the floor if possible. Rest your hands loosely on your lap for now. Allow your shoulders to melt downward and soften the muscles of your jaw. Now take one gentle breath in through the nose and let it fall out softly through the mouth. Notice how even a single breath changes the feeling of your body. Take 2 more breaths in this way. Inhale gently. Exhale quietly. With each breath, allow yourself to settle deeper, as if your body were a temple preparing for a sacred guest. Now we will find the point itself. Slowly raise your right hand, and with 2 fingers trace from the middle of your forehead up over the curve of your head until your fingers reach the very top. Continue moving just slightly back until you feel the highest point of the skull. This is where the crown sits, the soft peak, sensitive and aware. Rest your fingers there, pause. Can you feel the subtle aliveness beneath the skin? Some people describe it as a buzzing, others as warmth, and still others as a curious silence. If you are unsure, simply trust that your awareness is enough. Imagine a small circle of golden light resting exactly beneath your fingers. This is the doorway we are opening. Keeping your fingers gently on the crown, press with the lightest touch. No more pressure than it would take to rest your hand on the wing of a butterfly. Hold this contact as you take 3 slow breaths. With every inhale, imagine a soft stream of golden light flowing into your crown, trickling down through your body like warm honey. With every exhale, imagine that light sweeping away tension, old worries, or heavy thoughts. Stay here for a few moments. Notice how your awareness sharpens. Perhaps your scalp tingles, or a wave of calm spreads across your chest. Perhaps nothing obvious happens, but a quietness stirs inside you. Do not judge it. The crown is subtle. Its voice is often a whisper. Science would say this light touch stimulates nerve endings and encourages the parasympathetic system to relax the body. Mystics would say divine energy is entering you. Perhaps both are true. What matters is the stillness you are beginning to feel. Once you are comfortable with touch, try this variation. Instead of pressing, hover your hand an inch above your crown. Close your eyes and imagine that you are breathing directly through the top of your head. Inhale golden light, as if the universe is filling you with warmth. Exhale a soft grey mist, as if old stress is leaving through your crown and dissolving into the sky. Even if you do not feel a physical sensation, trust that your body is responding. The nervous system listens to intention as much as to touch. For this version, place one palm gently on your crown and the other over your heart. Sit with both hands resting like this, as if you are connecting two sacred altars, the mind above, the heart below. Breathe slowly. Imagine light flowing downward from your crown into your heart and rising upward from your heart into your crown. A meeting place of heaven and earth inside your own body. As you rest here, ask yourself quietly, what message might my heart and crown be exchanging right now? If you prefer not to use your hands at all, simply close your eyes and place your awareness on the crown. Imagine a gentle hand of light resting there. See if you can sense it, not with your skin, but with your inner awareness. This is the practice of many mystics who sat in silence, feeling as though an unseen presence was blessing them. For those who may have difficulty raising their arms or sitting for long, this variation carries the same power. Anadia Judith, in her book Wheels of Life, describes the crown chakra as our connection to universal consciousness, the crown that links us to infinite spirit. As you sit in this practice, remember those words. You are not performing a trick. You are remembering your connection. You are linking with something vast, infinite, and loving. Now pause for a moment. Release your hands if they are still resting on your crown or heart. Breathe naturally. Notice how your body feels. Is there a shift, a lightness, perhaps a deeper calm, as if silence itself has moved closer? These are not just exercises. They are doorways. Choose the variation that feels most natural to you. And as you continue, you may notice changes not only in your body, but in your emotions and spirit, a soft opening that leads us deeper into what this practice truly awakens within. As your fingers rested gently on your crown, as we practice together in the last step, something subtle yet profound begins to stir. At first, it may seem like nothing at all, just the quiet sensation of touch. But if you stay with it, if you allow the breath to soften and the body to surrender, you'll notice that what awakens is not outside of you, but within. It is as if the smallest doorway has opened, letting in a breeze you didn't realize your soul was craving. The very first thing many people notice when they press this hidden spot is a sense of lightness. Some describe it as warmth radiating downward. Others feel a soft tingling, like threads of energy running along the scalp and melting into the shoulders. And for some, it feels like a dissolving of mental clutter, as if the mind's storm has suddenly paused, leaving behind a rare and quiet sky. Think of it like this. Imagine you've been sitting for hours in a closed room, the air heavy and still. Suddenly a window is opened, fresh air rushes in, the atmosphere shifts, and without effort your body breathes more deeply. Pressing this point on your crown creates the same kind of release, not in the room around you, but in the inner chamber of your being. Science, too, whispers its agreement. Gentle pressure on the crown stimulates small nerve pathways that influence your nervous system. This subtle act reminds the body to move from its survival state, tense, alert, restless, into a healing state of calm. In spiritual language, we could say, the crown has been kissed by light. Beyond physical sensation, something deeper begins to loosen. The emotions you've carried quietly, sometimes for years, start to shift. Perhaps it is the grief that has sat in your chest like a stone. Perhaps an old fear that has curled itself into your stomach. As the crown relaxes and opens, these energies sense the permission to move. This is not about forcing emotions out. It is about allowing. The press, the breath, the stillness, together they create space for the emotional body to sigh, to exhale what it no longer needs. Michael A. Singer writes in The Untethered Soul, "There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it." When the crown softens, you realize exactly this. You are not the stuck emotion. You are not the heavy thought. You are the witness. And when you rest in this witnessing, the emotion no longer chains you. It flows through you, leaving you lighter. And then something even more luminous begins to unfold. Many describe the feeling as golden light pouring gently into the body. It does not burn. It does not overwhelm. It is like the first rays of morning sunlight slipping across your skin, only this light is felt within. It washes through your inner corridors, dissolving patterns you didn't know were there. From a spiritual, scientific view, this experience reflects the parasympathetic nervous system awakening. Your body moves out of defense, out of fight or flight, into a place of rest, repair, and deep renewal. This is why so many people feel not only calmer, but also clearer, as if the mind's fog has lifted. Ancient wisdom gave it a name long before science: the 1,000-petaled lotus. Yogic texts describe the crown chakra as a radiant bloom, opening upward to receive the infinite. When you press here, you touch the symbolic stem of this lotus, encouraging it to unfold. Paramahansa Yogananda, in Autobiography of a Yogi, spoke of such illumination with words that still shimmer today. When the mind is calm, how quickly, how smoothly, how beautifully you will perceive everything. That is the crown's gift, the calm that opens perception, the perception that invites illumination. Consider, for a moment, the story of a woman in her late 50s. She carried a constant heaviness, not only in her body but in her heart. Each morning she woke with a quiet dread, and each night she carried the weight of unspoken worries. When she discovered this simple crown practice, she was skeptical. Could pressing the top of her head really change anything so deep? But she committed. Just a few minutes each day, breathing, pressing, allowing. Within weeks she noticed a softening. She laughed more easily. She forgave more freely. The weight that had lived in her shoulders for years began to lift. She told me it wasn't like a miracle happening overnight. It was more like a sunrise, one that kept growing brighter each day. What stays with you after the practice is not only peace, but a kind of gentle joy. Your mind feels less noisy. Your heart feels less guarded. You may notice small things that you had forgotten to cherish. The way light falls across a window, the sound of your own breath, the presence of those you love. This afterglow is the crown's way of reminding you serenity is not something you must chase outside. It's already within you, waiting for a doorway. The touch, the press, the pause, that was the doorway. So let me ask you, if you could release even one hidden burden tonight, which one would you let go of first? Share it in the comments. Sometimes simply naming what we wish to release is the first step toward letting it dissolve. And as you notice this inner glow, remember, you are not alone in this discovery. Cultures thousands of years ago spoke of this same radiance, this same lotus of light above the head. Their voices still echo, guiding us back to the wisdom we had almost forgotten. Let us step into their blueprint together. As you felt that inner glow awaken within you, perhaps you sensed it wasn't new. It didn't feel like an invention. It felt like a memory. This is because what we now call the crown spot has been recognized for thousands of years, across cultures and continents, as a sacred doorway to the divine. In the yogic tradition of India, this place is known as the Sahasrara, the crown chakra, often depicted as a lotus with 1,000 petals. It is the seat of pure consciousness, the place where individual self dissolves into universal awareness. Yogis believed that when this center opened, one could experience bliss and union with the divine. Travel west, and you'll find echoes of the same truth in ancient Egypt. Pharaohs were crowned not only with gold, but with symbolic headdresses. The white crown of Upper Egypt and the red crown of Lower Egypt, signifying union between heaven and earth, spirit and matter. Some historians believe these crowns were more than ornaments. They were reminders of the ruler's sacred connection to the divine order, known as Ma'at. Even among indigenous peoples, the head was honored as a sacred gateway. Feathered headdresses, often given to spiritual leaders, were not mere decorations. Each feather represented a connection to the sky, to the realm of spirit, to wisdom received from above. From the lotus of India, to the crowns of Egypt, to the feathers of the Americas, the blueprint is the same. Humanity has always sensed that the crown is a place where light enters. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a painting of a saint or a sage. Around their head glows a golden circle, a halo of light. This image is so common in Christian, Buddhist, and even Islamic art that we hardly pause to ask, why? These circles weren't drawn as decoration. They were visual testaments to an awakened crown. The halo represented not just holiness, but the actual radiance that many believed could be seen around those who had touched divine presence. In Buddhist art, the halo is called the aura of enlightenment. In Christian icons, it is the light of the Holy Spirit. And in Sufi traditions, poetry often describes a glow descending upon the head of the beloved of God. The symbolism is universal. The crown is the bridge between heaven and earth, the place where human life and divine light meet. Across the great texts of wisdom, you will find descriptions that align with this hidden gateway. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, it is written, "When the mind becomes still, the self shines forth in its own nature." This shining forth is often linked to the opening of the higher centers, especially the crown. In the medieval Christian text, The Cloud of Unknowing, the anonymous author speaks of surrendering all thoughts and simply resting in love for God. This surrender is not mental, but experiential, a rising into the divine that mirrors the sensations we feel when the crown opens. The Sufi poet Rumi captured this mystery when he wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Though often quoted in the context of the heart, mystics have long understood the crown as one such opening, a place where divine light can pour in, even through the fractures of our human struggle. And in Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi, he describes meditation as the pathway to perceive the body as a temple of spirit, and the head as its crown jewel. Each tradition, in its own language, describes the same doorway. For centuries, the rational world dismissed these visions as symbols, metaphors, or myths. Yet today, neuroscience is beginning to confirm what the ancients whispered. When gentle touch or pressure is applied to the crown, it stimulates cranial nerves, shifts the nervous system toward a parasympathetic state, and activates what researchers call the relaxation response. In that moment, heart rate slows, breathing deepens, and the brain begins producing alpha waves associated with calm, clarity, and quiet joy. So was it all just symbolic? Or did these civilizations understand, in their own way, how to access the body's natural pathways into peace? I'll ask you this directly. What do you believe? Were halos and crowns simply symbols, or ancient science disguised as sacred story? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what your heart feels here. This blueprint was never lost. It lives inside you, as close as the skin at the top of your head. Every time you touch that spot, you're not creating something new. You are remembering something timeless, and when we remember, we begin to reconnect, not only with the body, but with the source itself. So you felt pressing the crown is not just about calming the body. It is something deeper, something timeless. If the ancients saw the crown as a gateway, then pressing this spot today is more than a technique. It is a way of returning to the source that has always been waiting within you. When I say source, I don't mean something distant or unreachable. I mean the presence that quietly sustains life, the gentle intelligence that makes the heart beat, the lungs breathe, and the stars continue their dance across the night sky. Every tradition has given it a name: God, Spirit, the divine, higher consciousness, the eternal light. Yet beneath the words, they all point to the same truth, that we are not separate. We are woven into something greater. Science, too, whispers of this unity. When we touch the crown and shift into stillness, the heart rhythms find coherence, the brain calms into alpha waves, and the body enters a state of harmony. Mystics describe it as divine presence. Neuroscience calls it integration. But the feeling is the same, a return home. Think of your awareness like a scattered flock of birds. Throughout the day, it flies in every direction, into memories, into worries, into constant noise. But when you press the crown, something begins to happen. The nervous system shifts from survival mode into rest and repair. Tension softens, thoughts loosen their grip. A quiet space opens inside you. Mystically, it feels as if a doorway opens upward, like a flower turning toward the sun. Scientifically, the crown's gentle activation helps reset neural pathways, allowing the mind to pause its chatter. And in that pause, you can sense the source, the stillness, the light, the presence that has been here all along. It's like a river finally reaching its ocean. Awareness, scattered in 1,000 directions, flows back into unity. Let me share a gentle story. A woman I once spoke with in her late 50s carried a heaviness she couldn't explain. Life had given her many roles: mother, worker, caretaker, but somewhere along the way she felt disconnected from herself, and even from her faith. She began pressing her crown each evening, just for a few minutes. At first, she only noticed warmth, then a soft sense of release. Within weeks, she described a shift she couldn't quite name, like being reintroduced to a quiet friend she had forgotten. Her faith felt alive again, not as belief, but as presence she could feel in her own body. This practice didn't change her circumstances. It changed the way she carried them, lighter, more connected, more trusting. Mystics across the ages described this same experience. Today, spiritual teachers remind us of it in simple words. In his book, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle writes, "You are not separate from the source. You are one with it. This is exactly what happens when you press the crown. You bypass the noise of the mind, and you touch directly the presence that mystics have spoken of for centuries. It doesn't require belief. It doesn't even require understanding. It simply requires presence, your breath, your touch, your willingness to feel, and in that willingness you rediscover something ancient yet intimate. You were never disconnected. The source was always here. When you pressed your crown today, did you feel even a glimpse of silence, light, or calm? Did something shift, even if only for a moment? What did that moment whisper to you? I would love for you to share it in the comments below, whether it felt like warmth, tingling, peace, or even nothing at all. Every response is a part of this collective journey, and your reflection may encourage someone else who is watching. Reconnecting to the source is not the end of this path. It is the beginning of living from light. The more you return to it, the more it begins to shape every moment of your life. And in our closing step, we will seal this practice so that the glow of the crown travels with you beyond this video into your breath, your relationships, your sleep, and your waking life. There is a stillness now, a soft glow in the silence we created together. As you listen to these closing words, allow yourself to gently re-enter the ordinary world, yet carry the extraordinary touch of light with you. What you felt, even if only a whisper, remains inside. It lingers in your breath, in the subtle hum of your heart, in the crown of your being. This was not imagination, it was remembrance. Think of the crown you pressed not as a fleeting ritual, but as a living key. Whenever life feels heavy, whenever your thoughts scatter, you can return to it. In the morning, before the rush of the day. At night, when shadows of worry try to follow you into sleep. Even in moments of doubt or confusion, this gentle touch becomes a signal, a reminder that divine light is already yours. The beauty is that you need not strive for the heavens. The heavens bend to meet you. The radiance you seek outside is already rising within, like dawn hidden beneath your skin. Every touch of the crown opens the door, and the door never truly closes. Mystics across ages whispered of this. In the Vedas, it was the thousand-petaled lotus unfolding. In Taoist texts, it was the bridge between heaven and earth. And in the Bible, these words echo. The kingdom of God is within you, Luke 17:21. They were not speaking of faraway realms, but of this very portal that now breathes inside you. You see, the wisdom written in books and carved on temple walls was never meant to remain outside you. It was pointing to what you could feel with your own hand, your own breath, your own awareness. The sacred is not a secret once you experience it directly, and you have. So let this be your quiet gift tonight. Every time your hand meets the crown, it is not you reaching upward. It is heaven reaching down. It is the meeting of longing and love, the merging of the human and the eternal. Hold this truth gently, as if cradling a flame in the dark. I thank you for walking with me through this journey. What we open together is not finished. It continues in you each time you close your eyes and remember the light. May this practice anchor you in peace. May it soften your heart. May it remind you of the vastness you carry within. And if this journey lit even a small spark within you, imagine what awaits as we keep traveling together. Let us not lose this thread. Subscribe to this channel so you and I can meet again in this sacred space. And if someone you know is searching for calm, for connection, for a little more light, share this with them. For sometimes, one gentle touch can change everything. The portal is closing now, but the light remains. Carry it with you.